All right, this is video 3 of the Brightbrop air conditioning build. I thought I would start it off with showing the material from the roof of the Brightbrop. Not very rigid. Well, it's rigid, but kind of thin. So that's why we did the reinforced roof on there so that the air conditioner can sit on there. With that, you'll see the completion of the air conditioner on top, the sealing, the screwing and tightening of the bolts, and firing up the electronic control sensor at the bottom, and seeing the whole thing come on. So with that being said, enjoy video 3. Quite a bit of room, so let me hand tighten these first. Oh yeah. Which is really cool is that it seems to, well, it's got that wax around them so that, you know, once they get up so far, they seat themselves. So we got it going the wrong way. And slowly it is biting back. But I think, again, it's all about the compression of the foam on the top. So I'll get them as tight as possible. Now, to me, I can see sunlight through there, so that tells me the foam is going to touch the foam. Yeah, that's the foam right there. So I need to have the foam compressed enough, obviously, that you're not having sunlight. I wonder if I have a drill that goes a little fast. This is what you need here, but deeper. So let me take a quick break because I think what we're going to do is actually cut these off so I can screw it tighter. I think that's the way to pronounce it. The sunlight is gone, but I want to get it tighter. So now I want to also get some of this foam insulation up in there. It calls for it to be in there. So my hole isn't big enough, so I'm breaking pieces off. And I actually had to cut it, a little bit to get a piece in here. That piece in front. I think the front back pieces are kind of easy, but the some side sure about me as well. I should probably loosen that up to get the foam in there. So let's loosen that up. The way I can. I get why you would want the foam in there. So let's try it. Try to see if we can't slide it up in there. Get this in here. Just let me cut on this one. I realize I probably cut in pieces of my thing. Probably doesn't hold a lot. Just stuff it in there. foam in there. Cool. Get this baby back up in there. Of course, that one's right. Oops. So, let's make it see. Oh, there it is. It's almost kind of way, but not really. There we go. And I think, if I trust the trio, it might. So, I am going to cut the bolts down shorter. I already got them started. Now, that could be a problem if I need to take them off. But we already got everybody started. We got a foam up. We got a glue up. We got everything where we want it. I just need to be able to make these a little tighter. So that should allow me to screw these all up even tighter. Maybe I can take it a little bit more. Oh, it's beautiful. That is what we're looking for. Oh, geez. Okay. That's what we're looking for. Tightest we can get. So that one probably can come off a little bit more if I want to really get it up there. Sorry. As you see, you might have to do a little modifying of the whole thing. That's it, ain't going no more than that. That's as tight as it's getting, baby. Alright, now it's time to wire this baby up. But we can't wire it up until we drill a hole through for the electrical. And I'm thinking I'll bring my wiring down because I want to run it behind the wall. I wouldn't mind bringing it down right here because I know the air conditioning unit is sitting all the way back here. Make a hole here, and then I'm going to run it and hide that line somewhere along the walls. With my trusty hole saw, I was able to put a hole in there for the electrical wire. So now let's bring the wire on the inside. You can see where I cut the nice little hole for the wire right there. Now on the instruction they said use a rubber washer, you know, those things you fasten to seal the hole. If they asked me, they should have gave us one, but they didn't, so that's that. And looking at this now, yeah, you can get the wires through, but I can't get this through. Bam, and just like that, that goes through. Now, we're going to put silicone and everything around there and maybe even get the a hole saw so I can cut that out bigger and cleaner and put the rubber piece in. That way, I'm putting the silicone inside the rubber piece. It'll be way more cleaner. This is where I chose to bring my wiring through. We're going to have a ceiling, and I'm going to bring it over and around, hide the battery under the seats, and wire the whole thing up. Easy peasy. But think about that when you're setting it up, where you're going to put your, your wiring and stuff like that. All right, got our hole drilled in. Got our electrical line coming down this way. Now just got it strapped to my aluminum skeleton that I put in for the reinforcement of this thing, and coming down close to where I have my battery at. After getting this in yesterday, I drove it around the city, even got on the freeway. Seemed to have no problems. Seems to be up there pretty stable. I'm glad I reinforced this roof. I think this would have been really bouncing, but with the aluminum square tubing, the cross beams coming across, and the OSB sitting on all of that aluminum trimming so that it's sandwiched up to the roof, it minimizes the amount of movement. Now, it does, I've been paying attention, it does bounce a little bit, but nothing you wouldn't expect. Whole nother conversation, but when we turn that to a wall, that'll help with the sound in here, because that thing sounds awful. Now, but with that being said, the last part we need to do is to hook up the control panel. So now, it is time to hook up the control panel and the face plate. And I did the bench testing earlier, so this should go fairly simple. Other than I gotta hold it over my head to get it in. That's where the inconvenience comes from. But let's get everything we need to get that started. So, looking in the box, I get 5 of these long screws. Then you also get a air duct replacement, but it must pop out pretty quick. And looking at the base plate, you got 4 places for 4 holes. No holes in here, so that tells me that this goes in here and screws up like that. So, which makes it a little more difficult, because I gotta, I would rather just hold the actual controller in my hand while I was trying to hook it up, but you gotta do it like that to screw it all up at one time. Easily grab everything, because if the wires hang pretty low, which they do, it's gonna be a simple connect. All right, so you got basically 1, 2, 3, 4 wires. That is it. And 1, 2, 3, 4. I see 5 wires. Let me make sure. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, so we hooked this up with 4 on the bench test and got it to operate. So this should be simple. Fingers crossed. Screws in pocket. Drill nearby, and let's wire this baby up. Again, plate has to be put in the panel beforehand, like that. And let's get the black first, just like before. Black wire. I don't know if you guys probably cannot see that well, but there's a black wire. Now don't be confused. Well, you can't be confused. There's 2 places to plug something. One might be for heat later on, but you have your one, what is that, a 3 or a tiny 4 prong connector. Put that on top. It's the top one. Then you have 3 more wires. Let's do the small one, because it's going to be easy. Can't miss this small one over on the side. So let's get that one. Nice. And then let's get the other two, the large and the medium. So the medium goes on the 4-prong medium, prong, whatever. The snap sounds good. And jump in this because I don't want to let it go yet. And take the 5-prong and put it on that one. Nice snap. And that is it. Screws and pocket. Pretty much got to be hanging to do it. So let's take that out. Get our faceplate in. Alright. Another little tip, along with longer screws, is just get your helper. So I'm doing this because nobody's around, and this is the last part I gotta do. So I don't want to wait. Alright, so we got that up, got faceplate. Now let's get everybody back in position, just like we did the first time. Watch your cords. And get it up in there. Now, let's see how I line down here to my old spots. I am not. So, again, start getting some cords in there. There's some screws in there. And this is the most painful part of the whole thing. So let's get a flashlight over here. Needs to go back just a hair. Go forward. I can see my screw pinhole right there. Now I think it's just a matter of a touch. So now it's just a matter of touching feet, which is the worst, right? But before we do, let's see, now I got that up tighter. Does that help at all? Yeah, there you go. You gotta get it right so there's no gap up there. All right, last part. hooking up the battery. All right, this should be simple. I had to turn my app on. This is a smart battery, but the battery is not on. It has an on button. It's not on yet. So we're gonna hook it up with the power off, but with Wi-Fi connected. So we can see this baby firing up in real time. One thing about the Brightbrop, the light, I gotta figure out how to make the lights just stay on. Someone knows, give me a shout out if you're in the Brightbrop group and you know how to just make everything stay on. Okay, they got a little glue on it. Should be all right. And let's tighten them up a little bit. Because if it's in there and it's working correctly, I probably won't take it apart again. And let's put our protection caps on there. Let's turn our battery on. Power is going. And that is the sound of the air conditioning, actually, everybody. So let's change the angle of our camera. All right, after much fighting, we have it up. Tighten the screws up a little bit more, but I don't want to break them, right? And to let you guys hear it, we're going to use the remote. Beautiful sound. You can start to hear it come on. And there she is. And then you can turn the fan up a little bit more. I think you guys can hear that. And the air feels really good. And in this little space back here, with that door closed and all this insulation, once we get all our paneling up, this will be just fine. Plus you got the air in the front of the regular vehicle, man. You drive with the air on of the regular vehicle, and you got this in the back pumping with the door open, you'll be in a winter wonderland. I'd be curious to see about the heat part of it though. Or do I need to do something else with heat? This is supposed to be, oh man, it's really cold in here. A dual system with air and heat. And we'll find out when it gets cold about that part. But anyway, this is the end of putting in the air conditioner video. Van customizing video. Talk to you guys soon.